Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Chelsea Sessions. Welcome back to another stream/video. I hope everyone is doing well, and I know this is somewhat late for some persons. And also, it may be weird that I'm not using a face cam. I'm not sure what's going on with my device, so unfortunately, I cannot use my camera right now. But I am joined here by Garvan. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the show, Garvan. Thank you for joining.
No problem, bro. No problem. You know, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here with you, to take the time out and to share the stream, with the one and only Kai Chelsea session.
All right, so just gonna look at the few messages that I see here. So this is Jerry, London to the league. Big up Blues. He's also saying Eden Hazard is the greatest Chelsea player of all time. Stats won't confirm that. Eden Hazard is beyond stats. And big up to you, Ray. Yeah, it's been a while, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to do this. This was initially going to be a video, but I said let's be more interactive and let me have another person's opinion being shared and let it be open. But yes, as you guys can see the title of the stream, this will be a discussion. This will be about the comparison that has made it onto the scene. You know, a lot of people, especially from last season, were saying that Cole Palmer is reminding them of Eden Hazard. It's Cole Palmer versus Eden Hazard. Will Cole Palmer be able to do more than what Eden Hazard did at Chelsea? I know this is a discussion that obviously cannot be discussed in one stream, but it will be utilized in one stream, and we're gonna try to find the best way to do so. Big up once more, Jerry, and he's also saying big up to Garvin as well. But yes, let's get straight into the discussion, Garvin. We'll see if anybody else will join. But yes, what are your thoughts on the whole situation? Because I'm not sure. Probably, I think you probably would have heard about this. I think you did a stream on this as well, if I'm not mistaken, about Cole Palmer and Eden Hazard. So what is your thoughts on this topic in particular, this discussion that has been making the scene, especially on social media?
Um, in my opinion, I think that us as Chelsea fan, is eager for a little bit of hope from the last two seasons. So each time we see something or a player, rise to the occasion, it seems like they are the best thing since sliced bread. I know a lot of people are gonna say that I'm saying Cole Palmer is not good. Cole Palmer is an excellent player. Cole Palmer right now, to me, is the best player in the world currently on form. On form, he is the best player right now in the Premier League. On form. If you want to say, a player is there, is up there, it's Cole Palmer. But let us go back to the Eden Hazard. And where I'm gonna challenge this back and forth. A lot of people will probably say I'm being two sided, but this conversation is conversation that you have to sit and ask yourself. On both sides. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And for me, Cole Palmer at this current stage, yes. But Eden Hazard, we have to remember, we never saw the best of Eden Hazard either because of the managers that Eden Hazard play under at Chelsea. So we have to put all of those things into concept. If Eden Hazard did have a manager like a Enzo right now or a Mauricio Pochettino, how many output or goals, rather that we can say Eden Hazard would have been contributing over the 7 years or 8 years that he was at Chelsea. So I saw a debate when they were saying that Mo Salah was a better player than Eden Hazard in the Premier League. But you have to look at it in a different way that Mo Salah play under a attacking manager. Eden Hazard always play more of a defensive manager, counteract style manager. So Eden Hazard didn't have the luxury of a Cole Palmer right now, and he didn't have a luxury of Mo Salah. I know it's about Cole Palmer, but recently what we've been surfing across the globe is they put in comparison with Eden Hazard and also Mo Salah. So that's why I bring it back, to Eden Hazard and Mo Salah plus Cole Palmer. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I get your point. I think I understand what you're saying. Um, and you made a valid point there, especially with the mention of Salah. For example, lots of people have made a comparison. It's been a comparison for around 6 years prior to when obviously Hazard would have probably left the club, and also after he left. And it's still a debate that still makes the rounds as well. But you made a valid point in terms of the manager, and if you think about it, Hazard was at Chelsea earlier than Salah was at Liverpool, and the one thing with Hazard that Salah hasn't been able to relate with up until now with a new manager is that Hazard never had a consistent manager coaching him. It's a case where the team, the manager continuously changed, and the team would have to play a different system. You had obviously Jose who would have come back, and we saw one of the better sides of Hazard, and then we saw another manager come in, and Conte obviously would have been there as well. And then you had Sari, who people up to this day still say that Hazard had his best season under Sari. So that's the thing. And as you mentioned, defensive defensive structures, defensive systems. Those are the things that Hazard would have had to play in. His role, his freedom would not have been there up until the last season that he was at Chelsea, where Sarri gave him that freedom, to be more of a key player and influential. He was always an influential player. You'd always be able to score goals and create and make opportunities for everybody else. But in that season, after the World Cup and everything, there was a different Hazard. There was a more experienced Hazard, the one that you could rely on if the team needed a goal and he was having a good game. He would make an impact and he'd either score a goal even if we lost the match. But yes, you made a valid point there, especially with the whole situation and the comparison that has happened with Salah. A lot of people love to draw that comparison. I'm not sure why, but that is the reality. So that's a good point, very much a good point. And I love what you said about fans. They get trigger happy. They get so happy. They're saying, "Oh, Cole Palmer is doing so well," and they're quick to make these comparisons. And I know a fellow content creator who will say this as well. You know, we a lot of fans love to say that these players are generational talents. They're excellent players. They're you don't see these type of players often. And what they tend to do is they set themselves up for embarrassment, because what happens is that there's no guarantee that this player will be generational. They'll be an exceptional player in terms of they show good promise, and they show that they can benefit the team if needs be. But a lot of fans love to say that players are generational and all of that, and then they pick up an injury, and that excellent player or that generational talent that they were looking for, or they were quoting the player to be, is not existent, because that has dropped. It's changed significantly. It's not the same again. So that is an important thing, and I love that you mentioned that as well, because it's something that a lot of people tend to do, and I'm not sure why.
Yes, what you said, 100% correct. And there's another thing for me. What I can't understand. Eden Hazard is coming from an era where defensively was more solid than right now. So we have a lot of things that we can put in context here before we touch about the Cole Palmer and the Eden Hazard thing. So I'm just putting this out there for the audience can know a little bit what I'm talking about with look at the John Terrys and Carvalho and all of those defenders, and look at the defenders today. These defenders today are soft. The game is really soft today comparing to in Eden Hazard time. You got a lot of physical defenders that he used to come up against, and he still was outclassing them. Imagine an Eden Hazard in today's team. What your thoughts on it?
Yeah, that's very much true. I agree with you when you say that, because even if you look at in terms of the refereeing decisions, a lot of fouls, a lot of tackles and everything. The football has evolved. A lot of players are easy. It's easier for them to pick up an injury. It's easy for them to be out for a longer period. You know, the gone are the days when players could pick up, they would be targeted and they'll be getting hits and all of that. And then they'll be fine for the next game. They ice themselves, they do rice, and they're able to play the next match, or you can still see them be available. But even that is something that I think it was Mikel or someone mentioned as well, about the fact that Hazard in particular, he would have been targeted a lot, and over time his body got weaker, and eventually he picked up more and more injuries because his body became more susceptible to injuries. And obviously people say that his eating choices and everything didn't help. That's another thing. I'm not going to speculate about things. It's possible if you look at the anatomy and all of that, and metabolism and all of that. But this is not supposed to be biology, so I'm not going to go in depth with that. But yes, it's not the same. You mentioned John Terry. I remember, for example, for older fans as well, they remember that game where he got a collision and had a concussion and everything, and he still gave it. He sacrificed his body. Not many players are going to do that. Not a lot of players who are gonna be willing to get a blow and put their life in danger like that. So football has obviously changed. It's definitely softer. Referees are protecting the players more. If you get if a little shove here, it's a foul. Any little slight touch is a penalty. So football has definitely changed. It's not the same sport as it was before. It's the game has become slower in terms of interruptions and all that. Obviously, you have some moments where the referee will let the game flow, but yeah, football has definitely changed 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And those are some of the facts that a lot of fans don't really look into. And now going to the Cole Palmer conversation, where Cole Palmer is right now the best young player I see in the world. But would rival fans give Cole Palmer the flowers that he deserve, or would they give him the flowers that he's working towards, or in many different ways we can put it. Without Chelsea winning something, Cole Palmer will never get the accolades that I think he will deserve in his long term career. I remember when Cole Palmer was a very young player at the Manchester City Academy. I used to watch a lot of the academy games. So because I used to have the Chelsea TV when it was Chelsea TV back in the day, and I used to see him come up against Chelsea player. It's Eden has always the time. Obama is a more accurate finisher. He can score free kicks, he can score dribble, he can declare one. And he is a complete. He's even good in the air, to be quite honest, and he's a good header off the ball too. So comparing the Eden Hazard right now with the Palmer, it's a tough one to take, and I'm not gonna say that the shows we're touching both sides of the players. I'm not saying attacking football where the football game you know advanced a little bit more than back then. So more team is trying to be doing is good at pressing. So the pitch you can hit team right there and then. So it's a game where I don't compare fans in this way because in every era
Are you still there, Gavin? Okay. Well, all right. Gavin looks like he's having some connection issues, but big up to you, Jerry. Thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you. Donating. To the cause. Well, I appreciate it. You're always supportive, and I really appreciate the fact that you've opted to do this. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, Jerry. Yes, Ray. Jerry with the donation. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it a lot. But yes, Gavin has been kicked off. But I will progress and then see if he joins back. But I have some pointers that I wanted to share as well. Okay, Gavin is back. I'm gonna go through the three reasons as to why I think he's being compared. Cole Palmer, that is, he's being compared to Eden Hazard, and then I'll see if Gavin agrees, see if Gavin wants to add anything to what I said. But this is my three reasons. In terms of what we've seen with Cole Palmer, his dribbling skills, his ball control is one that is excellent. Both Cole Palmer and Eden Hazard, they possess the exceptional dribbling skills that allows them to be able to beat defenders with ease. And we've seen Cole Palmer, his ability to get past players, he does it seamlessly, and it makes it seem very easy. And there's some key statistics that would highlight the similarities. When I look at the dribbling success rate, for example, I'm not a stats man, but stats do play some role and they tell some level of the story. They don't tell the full story, but I believe that looking at stats can also help you to understand what a player's limit is and if they're progressing or not. So Palmer boasts an impressive 73.2% dribbling success rate, while Hazard would have averaged around 69.5% during his Chelsea days. I think this point will tie in well to what Gavin would have mentioned earlier in the show when he was talking about the managers that Hazard would have played with. And that is something that we've obviously seen Cole Palmer not have an opportunity to have played with. He hasn't had that experience where he's playing against a manager who wants him to be more defensive, because the role of Cole Palmer is not that he must come back and be a midfielder that defend. Obviously, the team depends on as a unit, and he does win the ball back at times, but that's not his main responsibilities. Responsibilities to be an offensive outlet, and that is what he does most of the time. Progressive carries is another aspect that I think has to be considered. Palmer has averaged around 6.15 progressive carries per 90 minutes, which is similar to Hazard's 6.38 when he was in his prime, which would have been on the sorry, for example. Ball control is another aspect. Palmer's exceptional ball control would allow him to maintain possession under pressure, and most like Hazard's ability, he's able to control the ball inside spaces, gets beyond players in those type areas as well. So I think that is something that is very vital as well in my humble opinion. But yes, that is the one aspect that has to do with the progressiveness, the dribbling ability, and the success and his ball control. There's obviously other aspects that Garvin would have mentioned prior, and I would have touched on, but I'll see if I can expand on that now, which is his creative vision and his playmaking. Cole Palmer is the definition of modern day young advanced playmaker and attacking midfielder playmaker. That is the role that you can say Palmer has. Palmer and Hazard share a similar creative vision and playmaking ability. When you look at the statistics of Cole Palmer, especially for the beginning of this season to now, he has had key passes and he has averaged around 2.55 key passes per 90 minutes, and he's comparable to Hazard's 2.63 when he was in his prime the last season when he was at Chelsea. Expected assists in terms of what Palmer is expected to do in matches in terms of creating his creativity, he averages around 0.31 per 90 minutes, and is close to Hazard 0.35 when he was in his prime. So that you can probably understand why lots of people are optimistic about, oh, maybe Cole Palmer can perhaps surpass what Hazard has done. Yes, Garvin made a valid point about the fact that when he take into consideration that we didn't see the best of Hazard. Cole Palmer has had the opportunity to be lucky that the managers that he's had to work with, that they trust him, they value him, they give him that level of freedom to express himself on the pitch, and they don't limit him to just being one or two things. But that is one thing that as Garvin mentioned, Hazard hadn't really gotten opportunities, and we didn't see the best of Hazard. We saw an excellent player, don't get me wrong, but we didn't see the best of Hazard. Perhaps we would have seen that with Belgium, and as I mentioned earlier, the World Cup, 2018, we saw a influential Hazard. We saw a Hazard after that with other managers, sorry, being crucial to the amount of goals that we scored. He had an impact in a lot of the goals. He would get a goal for us when we look like we were going to lose, and we'd get a point in matches. He'd score goals, and that made him so important to what Manchester City wanted to do in that attack. So I think that is something vital and probably explains why Palmer has been compared. I personally don't think that should be the case because it's still very early. But Palmer has shown positive sides, and we cannot take that away from him. Progressive passing is another aspect as well. Both players excel at finding space, and and creating those scoring opportunities with their passing, as I would have mentioned prior. Goal scoring threat. I pushed on that slightly a while ago that I mentioned Hazard, but Cole Palmer has actually impressed in many ways. Palmer has demonstrated a similar goal scoring threat to Hazard. He's been involved in 33 goals in total. That number will always go up. He's had 22 goals, 11 assists last season, and he would have had around 42 in total in his career. total this season included. It's mirroring Hazard's impressive goal performance during his Chelsea days. I know his expected goals would have been around 0.43 per 90 minutes, and it is comparable to Hazard's 0.46. Clinical finishing, of which, as I mentioned, he has shown clinical finishing ability, and be similar to Hazard in terms of the fact that he can muscle out players, he can do it to trick, and he can shoot. And you can trust that if he shoots most of the time, it's going to either hit the target or it goes beyond the goalkeeper into the back of the net. So while Palmer still has to match Hazard's consistency and longevity, these statistics can play a vital role in defining who we will be. And he has demonstrated why he has been daunted and touted as being the new Eden Hazard. I don't think that should be the case, as I said, but that is the reality, and I can understand why people were excited. But I think we should keep ourselves composed for now and just wait and see. Cole Palmer is closely following the footsteps of Chelsea legend Eden Hazard, and he keeps finding it. So, those are the three reasons, and I hope that it was in depth enough. I don't know how much of that Gavin caught, but what are your thoughts on all of this? What are your thoughts on the comparisons that I would have made? Do you think that there's more that perhaps I didn't mention and you think needs to be mentioned as well?
I think there is more to come from Cole Palmer, in my humble opinion. And the reason why I said that last season, I know Cole Palmer did something that a lot of us never seen before. To be quite honest, because he single-handedly, bring Chelsea, from the slump to greatness. We finished sixth, but for us, it's greatness. And the reason why I said it's greatness, if you look on the season before, Cole Palmer arrived, we all know what happened. And to see that last season, we were same place. And when Cole Palmer started to score all those winning goals, it take us from 12 to 6th. And if you check the goals that Cole Palmer scored for us, to finish in that aspect, you have to say that it was a one-man team. It was a one-man show. But we have to put into consideration too, the last season before Eden Hazard leave, it was a one-man show. In Doku, when we win that UEFA Cup, Hazard was single-handedly taking Chelsea on his back. The next player that have the similar um performance, like I think it was the season under Conte when we finished 10th, that was William. So we see this before happening in Chelsea. But I think a lot of us as Chelsea fans is nearsighted. We remember only what happened today. We don't remember what happened yesterday. And I think that we already have players that do some probably not the same amount of goals and assists like Cole Palmer, did, but single-handedly, take Chelsea from nowhere to somewhere. And I think it would be unfair for those players, not to get at least a little bit of validation, because of what they done or what they did for Chelsea, especially Eden Hazard. He win us a title. So if I want to say we're gonna have this conversation, I would rather have this conversation next season. If we win that conference league, or we win the FA Cup or the Carling Cup, somewhere like that where Cole Palmer lead the team, then we can sit and have that conversation. But I think it's unfair for a legend like Eden Hazard for us to really sit here and have this conversation about if Cole Palmer is better than Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard, win a Premier League title, single-handedly bring Chelsea to the Premier League title. Remember those magisterial goals against Arsenal, the one where and against Liverpool, where lead us to some finals. I think it was a Carling Cup final. So Hazard done a lot for Chelsea in big games, not just regular games during the season. You know, um, Unfortunately, we never win a Champions League with him, but he was up there when we were winning a lot of trophy. So why would we put Cole Palmer that just started his career up against a legend of the not only Chelsea football team but of the game? Eden Hazard was the best player in the Premier League for at least five out of his 7 years. So I think it would be unfair. I know that it was unfair last season when they didn't give Cole Palmer Player of the Season, because I think that he deserved it for what he done, and I think that because Erling Allen Foden did win the Premier League, that's why they look at it and give it to him. But I don't think he deserved it. To be quite honest, I think it would be more like Cole Palmer or the midfield that get injured the other day, Rodri. I think they were the better player in the whole entire league. So I think that it's too early. I think that Chelsea fans, we need to calm down because it's still early days. We still the wound haven't healed as yet. We're still there with the plaster over it. We're waiting on the wound to heal properly before we can start to say we're stamping, these players up against some of the greats that ever walk or ever live or ever play the game. I think that we need to be patient with all of these crazy stats that we're seeing right now and try to do comparisons. You got play. I know Cole Palmer is a player for big occasion. Because he already proved it against the team that literally grow him. He stand like a man. As the commentator said, the once the boy from Manchester City become the Chelsea man. So we understand that he's growing and he's gonna always grow. And because he's so talented. And one thing we cannot take away from Cole Palmer is the talent, because Cole Palmer can win you a game in a flick of an eye, just like what Eden Hazard can do. Because he can do everything. That I mean, I said everything. I mean everything. But we need to be patient. Let him continue to grow. Don't put any pressure on him, like what Arsenal did with Saka. And too much pressure too early. Can break players, just like Hudson-Odoi. We have Hudson-Odoi on the ice of level when he was 17 years old, and because we as the fan, we hype him up so much, it forced the manager to overuse him. He get that ACL injury, and then there goes Hudson-Odoi, the talentedest player in the whole entire English football as a youngster. So we have to be careful of how we put a mark or a target on these young players back.
Well said, well said. And I just want to clarify, for the audience as well, that I'm not saying, and this stream is not to say that why Cole Palmer is on his new level. This is the thumbnail does say that the new is Palmer the new Eden Hazard, just to tickle the mind, to get you to think, and for you to express your views as well. But I'm not saying in no way, shape, or form that he is. And Jesus is King. That's a lovely name. I love that channel name. Um, is saying right here that it's too early for Palmer to reach Hazard's legendary status. You'd have to win us the league multiple times like Hazard did. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. I understand that. We're yet to win a trophy in this new era, and Palmer is still yet to win a trophy with Chelsea as well. So I understand and I agree with you. There's things that obviously need to be considered as well. The fact that he's still very young, the factors that Garver would have mentioned about Hazard not getting that opportunity to have that freedom to really be himself. He mentioned goals like against Arsenal, goals against Liverpool, goals that would have won us trophies or would have helped us to win trophies as well. So he's done a lot, and Palmer hasn't attained that level of achievement yet. So it's not easy, nor is it reasonable to say that yes, Cole Palmer is on his level or no. In terms of output and all of that, he's being impactful like what you would have expected from a Hazard. But that shouldn't be that shouldn't be a surprise, because the players that you sign should be benefiting the team. So you should not be putting a title on a player to say that he is the next Eden Hazard. The thumbnail does say new Eden Hazard, just to tickle the mind, just to get you to think, and also for you to ponder on if the reasons that are being given are valid ones, or should it be even considered in the first place. But yes, thank you, Garvin, for that contribution. Um, I do see that there are persons that would have sent messages after that. Keeping it real, Chelsea JPT is saying all hail Stone Cold Palmer. Love that wrestling reference right there. I know Jerry's was corresponding with Ray as well. Thank you for watching as well, Ray. Appreciate it. And yes, please do subscribe to JPT's channel as well. And don't forget to check out Garvin's channel as well. That's shared right here as well. But yes, Garvin, you've mentioned something here that I'm fascinated with. It goes back to what you said about, the achievements that Hazard had. If you look back at it, Eden Hazard won about what? He won two, is it two Premier Leagues? I think it's two Premier Leagues. Yeah, I think it's two Premier Leagues. Yeah, two Premier Leagues. He won two Europa Leagues with us. He won the FA Cup. I think he won the Carabao Cup with us. Yeah, and as you mentioned, the only thing that would have evaded him was the Champions League, and then only for after he left, we won it. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you have to consider, and as I mentioned, Cole Palmer hasn't done that. So to really say that he is the next Eden Hazard, I don't know. To me, I don't think it's reasonable. I don't think it's fair to the legend because there's times when Hazard had to step up and all of that. It does expand to Lampard because I've heard people mention on X, mention on Instagram, mention all over social media that he's in the same bracket as Lampard. I was surprised when I saw that. But in terms of goals scored from the midfield, or for people who recognize him as a CM rather than a CAM or attacking midfielder, then they say yes, he's doing what Lampard things. The fact that he can score from outside the box, he can strike the ball well, he can take free kicks, and taking into account the fact that he made history in the Premier League last weekend, it's something that I guess is valid in a sense as to why people are so excited by him. But as Garvin has stressed, and as I'm stressing as well, Cole Palmer still needs to be more influential in terms of us winning trophies. If he does that, then maybe the conversation becomes one where you can probably say that, okay, what else can he attain? Will he be able to do what Hazard wasn't fortunate to do, which is to allow Chelsea to get to the Champions League again and win it, and him playing a crucial role in that as well. Those are things that would have to be considered as well. But as Jesus' love would have mentioned, or and all of that, it's too early to really mention that as well. There's something that I want to bring to Gavin's attention, and I want to discuss as well. There are persons that you would have joined Cole Palmer, that is, in terms of the fact that he would have scored hat tricks and all of that. There's players who are Chelsea legends that he would have joined in that bracket, that ranking and all of that, in terms of the fact that with Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba, and Jimmy Floyd Hasselback, all those players have, or those ex-players or legends have come out and said things about him as well. I do believe that it was Drogba that would have come out and said a few stuff about him, saying that he's brilliant to watch. The fact that he looks so slim, but the fact that he's so physical, he has the physique and all of that. Those are things that really shows that he's impressing fans, and we cannot forget the fact that a lot of Chelsea fans were very surprised when Chelsea were linked with him in the latter parts of the window in 2023. A player that wasn't making it into the first team of Pep consistently. He wasn't playing in the Premier League for him a lot. He got a few matches in the Champions League and all that. Played in the Community Shield matches, and obviously played against us in the latter parts of the Premier League because of issues that Man City would have had, and obviously the fact that they wanted to rotate their squad and give everybody an opportunity to play. But one thing that I want to bring to discussion here is, do you think that because this is something that persons have been saying, a lot of fans were wondering, would we be seeing the same output from Palmer and Maresca? Do you think that what we're seeing, do you think that Maresca is, because Maresca has worked with him before, it's helped him now? or do you think that that has nothing to do with it, Garvin?
Um, it's it's a many different aspect to it. Cole Palmer. Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. I don't know if you remember when we play against Man City. I think it was the Carling Cup where Cole Palmer did come on the pitch, and he was giving us problem down that side. So those are some of the aspects that I really get get in tune with Cole Palmer and to see what he is capable of doing. But you hit the nail right on the head right there when you were saying about Cole Palmer. I think Cole Palmer is naturally just a talented player, a player that just play just like as everyone been saying, like when you went to play like evening games, soccer games or football game, depends on where you are. You just out there playing for fun. That's the vibes that Cole Palmer brings. He don't seems like he don't play with too much tactics or technical. He just go out there just to play, and that's the only thing you can ask from a player. Don't get too much up in your head, because once you're up in your head, that's where you make mistakes, when you start to overthink. Like not Money Wake, sometimes he think too much if he want to pass, or if he want to driver, or if he just want to do it himself. So those are the time when player make mistakes. And I think that Cole Palmer is just that kid just out there in the park, on the six-a-side pitch, just having fun, with his friends or his mate, as calling to as how they put it in England. But I just think that Moresca, try something, because when he was playing in the U team where Moresca was the coach, I think he was playing more as a right winger, to be quite honest. I think that Pochettino was the one that really introduced him to start a drift inside. But Cole Palmer was doing this a long time, even before Moresca really go to City Academy team. Was putting up numbers and all of that. But I think that the manager, I would say he really know the player, and he know the player capability. So I think that's what help. Right now in the longer run, that's what helping. But I just think that Cole Palmer is just Cole Palmer. It's just the mentality, because football is a mentality thing. If you got a good mentality, you will go far. If you go in the game and go with a clear mind, you're gonna always prove to the rest, that you can do it. But I think that when you start overthink, just like with Pep Guardiola, I always tell people that Pep Guardiola sometimes get caught up by overthinking stuff. If you want to get Pep Guardiola lose a final or lose something, let him start to overthink. Let him start to see him on a stutter and start to scratch his head and start to move around and move in his mouth. You know that Pep Guardiola gonna throw it away. So football gives you that kind of output. You cannot overthink football. You have to just go in there with a mindset, I'm going to win, or I'm going to do good. I'm just going to enjoy myself. So I just think that Cole Palmer is just naturally talented. I think that Moresco helps, of the way I would give him the freedom, just like what Pochettino did. You just want to play football, go out there and play, enjoy yourself, be your best. I don't think that they give him too much instruction, to be quite honest. I just think that it's just naturally a talent there.
Fair enough. I love the way that you just structure that as well. I really do, because I think that it's a valid point there. I asked the question because I do remember, especially the fact that people say that Pochettino would have helped to improve Cole Palmer, and the fact that Cole Palmer was so important to Pochettino winning some games that he did win, you can't downplay that. You can't say that that wasn't the case. You can remember the Man United game where Palmer was crucial. He ended up scoring a hat trick in that match as well. 4-3 and all that, so dramatic last minute and everything. So you have to take that into consideration, because at the end of the day, that is something that that really shows the ability. But as you said, I don't think it's a case of system, because I don't think any manager tells a player or has told Cole Palmer that, okay, when you reach to this point, you do a little trick here, you do a little dummy. No manager has ever told any player to do that. I don't think so. At least I'm yet to really have that belief, or to see that happen. So I don't think it's a case of the manager. I mean, yes, and as you mentioned before, before Maresca would have obviously gone to City, he was the development squad coach and all of that. He would have showed promise. A lot of people can find videos of Cole Palmer doing the trickery, being the poise, being the excellent player, that technical player. Even the story about, his father wanted him to get more bulky and all of that, and he said that he just wanted to play his football. He doesn't care about that. And seeing as how people say he's thin and he's slim, that doesn't waver anything. He's still the exact excellent player that he is now, even though his build is not what what a lot of players are aiming for right now. A lot of players are trying to be bulky, trying to get more muscle, and maybe that could change for him. But he stuck to his guns, and he stuck to the belief of all of that. So I do agree with you in terms of the fact that it's not a case where the manager has really done that. Nor am I saying that Pochettino was the reason why, because I think if any manager had given Palmer the freedom that Pochettino would have given, or is giving him in Maresca giving him the opportunity to do what he's doing now, I think he would have delivered the same numbers or delivered the same output, because that is who he is. That's the creativity that he would have had from he was young. I know if Pep gave him more opportunities, because when he was there, that's the thing, But I be saying here that it's too soon to call Palmer the next Hazard. He's talented, but not yet Hazard level. Yes, that is 100% true. You're about the fourth person that shares the same sentiment. And as I said before, this isn't necessarily to say that he is the next, but it's just to tickle the mind, because that is the quotation that a lot of people are saying. People are saying Palmer is the new Hazard, or is Palmer the new Hazard. So yes, I agree with you. He's too soon. Obviously, it's two season. The season has just begun as well. A lot of things can change. I remember people saying Mason Mount was going to be the next Lampard. He's going to be the next Hazard. He's going to be the next influential player. And fair enough, people can give Mount more credit, because he obviously was crucial in Chelsea winning the Champions League for in more than one way. So you have to take that into consideration. But even then, you can't really say that Mason Mount is this or Mason Mount was that, because he was one of the best players. He was shining in a team where the creativity was so low. Jorginho, for example, would do a little creativity work here and there, and then that's it. But yes, Jesus is King is saying once more, it's the British media that are painting. Yes, I remember, and that's why I had the idea to do this, because I think it was Sky Sports. I think they had Graham Potter on, and they discussed it as well. So I think that, as you said, I agree with you, Jesus is King. I think that the British media, they always try to hype the English players, the British players, because it's their own name to mention. A player is doing well at a team, and Eden Hazard is the easiest name to mention because of what he would have done in a Chelsea shirt. But yes, what do you think about this, Garvan?
The
Do
next
you
thing
do you
again,
do
Ty,
you agree with what this?
before you move on, Ty, real quick, before you move on, hold that point and remind me that point. But the next
Yeah,
thing again about the situation, the last couple of years in the Premier League, the English base, they're never an English based player since Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard have been dominating the Premier League like what Cole Palmer is doing. So therefore, they're looking for something to hold on to. And I think that's why they start to have this conversation, because a lot of it go back to Chelsea, because a lot of those pundits on those Sky Sports and Talk Sports, they all put Chelsea to fail. If you understand what I'm saying. So no one expect Chelsea to be doing this good. So now they have to bite their words or heed their words. So now they're gonna have to put it like Cole Palmer is the one, or is the only one that bringing Chelsea on his shoulder. Well, this season you got Cole Palmer is there, but you got other player are stepping up. So because a lot of these pundits make their calls so early, and they don't want to go back and eat their words. So now they have to put a conversation to take away the conversation from what they were saying, because a lot of these pundits saying that Cole Palmer probably be a one season wonder. If my point is clear, so now it's all about he start the season just the way I always leave it off. So now these pundits have to change their words. Back to you, Ty.
Hmm. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. And I remember that. I do remember that because even I think ESPN, because ESPN is the go-to place if you want to see Chelsea hate non-stop. They are the definition of Chelsea hate. They would have mentioned it. I think they're the ones that would have mentioned that as well, to say that he would probably be a one-hit wonder. He would be just a once. He's
Michael
going to be a
Carrick
one
from Liverpool
goalie.
too. Carragher
Exactly.
from
So there
Liverpool
are
said
lots
it.
of people. Yeah. Yeah, so that's another thing as well. You mentioned Carragher. Yeah, he's another one that said it as well. And even he altered his opinion and said that, oh, Chelsea may be able to win the league. Yeah, but I stopped watching ESPN because I remember them saying that Cole Palmer may not get the same numbers because Maresca's gonna be defensive and Palmer is gonna struggle to do this because it's not like Pochettino who gave him the freedom. And so yeah, so far they have been proven wrong because he's doing the exact same thing. Obviously, he's been targeted more now because and perhaps that's why people are linking him in terms of the type of player that he is to Hazard because he's being targeted more. People are targeting him, trying to take him out of the game because they see him as the creative outlet. But as you just mentioned as well, and as I would have mentioned when I mentioned Mason Mount, he's not the only creative outlet. We've seen Casado in recent games putting up, a fight. He's winning the ball back, creating opportunities as well. And we're seeing the midfield do something that the midfield used to do for Chelsea. It's still early days. We can't be too excited, but it's promising when you see a player like Casado creating. Enzo, we know, creates opportunities as well, albeit not consistently. But yes, that is something vital. You want to say something, Garbon?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Because that's what it come back to. You know, these I'm gonna be real. With the audience right now. Chelsea Football Club is one of the first club in England to start to bring overseas player to the Premier League. I've been watching the Premier League for many, many years. And when Chelsea started to get your likes of Franco Zola and all of these, this guy that's on ESPN, I can't remember his name, Craig Burley or whatever. He used to play for Chelsea. And then they throw
Mm,
him to the bin. They throw him to the bin after they started bringing these players overseas, from the Italian Serie A, the French league. So Chelsea was one of the first team to start to import a lot of world class player to the Premier League. And then you have the likes of Arsenal, get like your Dennis Bergkamp. But when Chelsea started revamp themselves, when Ken I can't remember his name. Ken Deesh or Ken Deesh get by Chelsea, and Chelsea started reform. A lot of people started to be afraid, and even right now today, a lot of people start to be afraid of Chelsea because no one know what Chelsea gonna become under these owners. So that's why when Chelsea was in the gutter, everyone was bantering Chelsea. But now no one can banter Chelsea, and no one want to banter the likes of Manchester United. Chelsea and Arsenal, if you notice, and Tottenham is the easy way out for a lot of these pundits. So one of any of these three teams not doing good, it's easier to banter these teams. Notice that Manchester United is being crap for the last 10 years, and you barely hear something about the likes of even Manchester United in the media. If you notice, mostly of the pundits are a former Manchester United or Liverpool players.
mm,
You,
indeed,
you
that's
understand what
true.
I'm saying?
What's
So
yeah.
it's a big unfair for the likes of Chelsea and their players to really have a stake
in the Premier League without a lot of banter. If you notice, every Chelsea supporters that went on these big platform to represent Chelsea, you notice the ones that they get to represent Chelsea is the ones that's gonna be yes men and say what they want them to say and go there and talk bad about the club, like Rowan Jennings, if I pronounce his name properly. You know, one of the
Doesn't matter.
biggest hypocrite in Chelsea community. I'm wondering if he's really a Chelsea supporter. So this is some of the things that happen. You know, Sam Usam, the Liverpool fan. You know, he
Hmm.
ate Chelsea because Chelsea ruining his childhood. When the Steven Gerrard slip, you know, the Caicedo, the Torre Fernandez or whatever his name is, what we take from them. So Chelsea is one of the teams that ruining a lot of these young men childhood. So they grow up with these hatreds that they just do not want to see Chelsea players do good. Today they asked him a question. Is Cole Palmer right now was one of the best players in the world? He said no. He said it's Gavin Birch is the best player right now in the Premier League. So that to show you the
No, he wouldn't.
biasness that's coming from these rival and these big YouTubers and these big platform. You know, so for me, Cole Palmer is in a league by himself because this kid he's just playing out of this world for the from last season into this season, and he just having fun. And I don't see any player doing what Cole Palmer is doing. He do everything. This player can do almost everything. And that's why a lot of fans is wishing that Cole Palmer was in their team.
Yeah, yeah, that's very much true. You mentioned something that I agree with 100%. A lot of these pundits, and even the person that they get on, even for matches, for Chelsea matches, for example, they get players who, yes, they may have played for Chelsea. I think there's this guy, I always forget his name. He went on to Man City, but he played for Chelsea briefly. Um, I don't remember his
Sean
name,
Wright
but they
Phillips.
always get.
Sean Wright Phillips.
Sorry,
Sean Wright
I think
Phillips.
that's the name. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it. Yeah, him. Right. So they get him on to say that, and they say that played for Man City and Chelsea, and they'll put for the period that he played for Chelsea in it as well. But they get persons who are supposedly ex Chelsea players who would still have some level of, the connection isn't there, and they get people who are going to be biased. And as you said, yes, man, they get people like Gerard, not Gerard, Garriga, because as you mentioned, Steven Gerrard and the whole fact of childhood being ruined because of the slip and Demba Ba square and all that. Those stuff explain the whole situation with why they're not as keen to talk about Chelsea in a positive light. And as you mentioned, a lot of people are going to say that, oh no, these players are not one of the best players, which is crazy. But you have to understand that the bias is there, and you can't expect better. Chelsea are being hated again, and I miss those days where Chelsea were being bantered because of being well, and people just simply can't find anything negative, so they have to form narrative. It shows that Chelsea are going in the right direction, but we still have a lot of work to do as well. But yes, I'm loving the responses, and I'm loving the comments that I'm seeing here. Jesus is King is saying that people are waiting for the October fixtures to see if they can banter Chelsea. This season is Chelsea against the world. I agree with you. Um, a lot of people are waiting for that. Even a lot of fans who are still not convinced, which is fair. It's just 8 matches. You can't really be too excited. You can feel as if yes, we can do something. We can win things this season, but you have to be cautious. And we know that for the past 7 years or so, Chelsea tend to struggle when it comes on to the late November, December period of the league or of the season. That's when they start to struggle. And even people mentioned Graham Potter. When Graham Potter came in, when he replaced Tuchel, he went on his only to undefeated streak. We didn't lose a match, so that's the difference that they see with him and Maresca. We drew and won. We didn't lose, and we won comfortable as well in some matches. But the results were not convincing, and I think about two of those games as well, we really deserved to have won. People will say the same for this as well. Big up to you,
All right,
Miss
Ty.
Molina. Big up to you.
Ty, not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I'm just saying big up to Miss Molina. Thank you for coming. Yeah,
Okay.
you can do what you're saying,
Okay.
Garban.
Okay. Before I forget this point, because soon as they hit me, I have to hit you with them. Okay. Rhyme Sterling. Okay, Raheem Sterling. Last season, everyone saying Raheem Sterling need to leave Chelsea. Raheem Sterling is not performing. Raheem Sterling is not doing what he's supposed to do, and all of these big money and all of this, right? Raheem Sterling is selfish. Raheem Sterling need to get out of Chelsea. Chelsea need to get rid of him. And now this season, Chelsea try to get rid of Raheem Sterling. Oh, Chelsea's dealing with him unfair. Chelsea's treating these players unfair because they take them out of the squad. But you're the same person was saying last season that Chelsea needs to get rid of Raheem Sterling. He's not living up to expectation. So now what you want Chelsea to do? Big up, Miss Molina. Appreciate it. So what you want Chelsea to do? What do you want the board to do? You're telling them to get rid of this player. Now you're trying to tell them they're cheating on the player unfair when they see that these players are a problem in the squad and it's time for them to go. So I want to know, what should Chelsea do in that situation?
That's a valid thing. That's a valid point you made there. And I like that you mentioned that as well, because I think that's the thing. It goes back to what the media portray. Because I remember that, and Sterling is a perfect example. They would have slated Sterling for months. They've saying that Sterling is selfish. They'll say Sterling is this, and then they'll say the way that he's been treated is this. And then I hope they realize that what they were saying made no sense, because even when Sterling went to Arsenal, the first thing that he said is that, wow, the first thing that he would have said is that sorry, Miss Molina just blew my mind a while ago. Thank you for that, Miss Molina. But yes, what was I saying? Wow, this is so unprofessional, right? So yeah, what he would have said when he went to Arsenal is that, this is the season where he's going to prove his haters wrong and all of that. So even persons who were even saying that he's being treated badly, he didn't come out and say things like, "Oh, he's here to prove to Chelsea that he still has a lot to offer and he understands it." That's not what he said. He said the complete opposite. He said that he's going to prove that this is going to be the best that you see of Sterling. So I don't think that what they were saying really made sense, and they made themselves look foolish.
You're correct, and that's what I'm saying. So if Chelsea do what they said they should do, they complain. If Chelsea don't do what they said to do, the owners are crap. I understand. I saw Nunes was saying that Mikel go back on his words after he meet the owners. But everyone can go back on the words with football, because the end of the day is, if someone sell you the project, right? Before we even go there with John Obi Mikel, Carragher was saying that all these young players must stop go to Chelsea. Chelsea, if Chelsea come and knocking, they should not accept. But now they're saying that Chelsea got the best team in the league, and Chelsea can win the Premier League. No, Arsenal is a favorite to win the Premier League. Arsenal have to go on and win the Premier League this season. The Premier League is there for Arsenal for the taking. There is no other team there to win the Premier League than Arsenal. Arsenal is the favorite to win the Premier League, whether we like it or not, or because our rival. I think the Premier League right now is in Arsenal favor, in their hands. The only thing Arsenal have to do is cross the line. It's there right there at the finishing line, and it's so early in the season. But they want to put Chelsea up there in the conversation that Chelsea can challenge for the Premier League. No, Chelsea is not going to challenge for the Premier League this season. It's up to Arsenal and Liverpool to stop Manchester City, and both do got the potential, to go on and do it. So I don't want the Chelsea fan to sit here and take the bait, because they're just waiting for us to fall
or to start to lose two games and to say that it was a blip. So for me, I don't listen to the pundits, to be quite honest, because they only talk rubbish. Sorry to cut you off early, bro, but I have to throw that in there.
No, no, no. What you added a while ago is a lot of value, and yeah, I do agree with you. A lot of pundits love to slate Chelsea, and it really makes no sense. But they get a very they get a very good feeling out of doing it because they believe that Chelsea is an easy scapegoat. But yes, I want to thank Miss Melina once more for this donation. I really appreciate it, and thank you very much for the congratulations. A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of commitments. But I appreciate the donation. Really do appreciate it. But Jesus is King is saying something here that I'm not sure what you think about this. Garvin, what do you agree with what is being said here? Because Jesus is King is saying that he wants Chelsea to get rid of Nani because he's a tall version of Sterling. Do you agree? Do you think that that comparison is fair?
He wants Chelsea to get rid of Nani.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you remember on my stream, right? When I just came from the Real Madrid game, and I was telling you guys the problem that I see with Nani Madueke, indiscipline. And in the last few games, right, we can see the indiscipline, not physically, but when I said indiscipline, it's come with the system that none want to be the Cole Palmer of the team, but there only can be one Cole Palmer. You're never gonna find a team that going to have two main men. That ain't gonna help the team defensively, as what Enzo Maresca said in his press conference, that they would love to start all the attackers, but they can't because who is gonna defend? And for me, Nodi Madueke want to so what he's saying, I can see what he's saying, that probably Nodi Madueke gonna have to go on to go to a team where he's gonna be the man because Cole Palmer already be the man at Chelsea. I do understand that, and I can see where probably in the next game, if Nodi Madueke continue to be a selfish player like what Raheem Sterling was at last season, I can see where Maresca probably replaced him. To be quite honest, because if you notice, even against Brighton, when he got the chance to pass the ball, and he's trying to dribble and shoot. So you can see a lot of selfishness in Nodi Madueke game because he want to score so badly. But Nodi Madueke have to understand that if you do get the assist, people look at you the same way as you score a goal because assists count in these days. So I can see that Nodi Madueke probably, gonna move on, especially when Exaval Williams come in. So he do got a point right there.
That's interesting. Wow, I think that's very interesting there from you. But yeah, I can understand the frustration. I've been frustrated with Madueke. I have to be honest. I do remember being frustrated when I was watching the game against Brighton because decision making by Madueke in some aspects was pretty bad. In the game prior to that as well against West Ham, where I was saying to myself, I'm saying if we had not had a 3-0 lead and Madueke would have done that, I would have been extra upset because at the end of the day, I'm saying to myself, it's a team sport. It's a team sport. It's a sport that you have to work as a unit. You have to work as a team. Yes, you may want to achieve certain goal tallies and all of that, and you want to get your tally up for the club and all of that. But at the end of the day, put the club first. Think about putting the club first, and if the team scores a goal and you would have assisted it, you get a goal involvement. You're still benefiting the team. So it's better that you do that rather than you devoting yourself to trying to be a hero, being a Messi, being a player that does tricks we here and try to showboat, and you end up missing it and look like a fool. And that's what's happened. So I understand the frustration. I don't know about getting rid of Noni because that the selfish side of him can always be, you know, reduced. It can be drilled in him that he should, think about the team first and not about, achievements and all of that and what he can do to for himself rather than the team because the team should be coming first and the team will always come first no matter what. But yes, I wanna see what I wanna mention what I saw a message a while ago. Right here it is. Jesus is king. He says Nuni believes he's better than Palmer, so all he tries to do is try to be the star of the team. But that selfishness is only going to make it easy for Esteval to take that right wing. That's true because Esteval is more of a player that works as a unit. I've been watching what he's been doing, at the team that he's currently at, and it's impressive. He's a very promising outlet. I hope that everything goes well with him and he gets an opportunity at Chelsea because he looks like he could become a excellent player in football, not just Chelsea but overall. He looks promising, and I've had to ensure that I say if injuries don't come in because a lot of players who I thought would have become excellent players, injuries have hampered their progression and what they can do. IB is also saying, do we really do? Same fans we call for Noni to be sold because he doesn't score yet will say he's an assist player and he can be replaced quickly. I mean, I get it. You can't satisfy everybody. A lot of fans are never gonna be happy. They're gonna be
Uh,
inconsistent. They're gonna be flip flopping.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
Noni
you want to say
Madueke.
something? About
Yeah, I'm not saying Noni Madueke should be sold. I'm just saying I see it possible because you're gonna have to think about the team. If you're building a team to challenge, you're gonna build a team. You need players that's going to work with the project, gonna work with the entire team to help the team to cross the line. You're not gonna need a team of our players in that team who is gonna be looking at his player. If Cole Palmer scored 29 goals, just like look at this. Put it this way. Look at Chelsea when Frank Lampard and Didier Drogba. When Didier Drogba need one goal to win the Golden Boot, and what Frank Lampard did. Lampard is the main penalty taker, and what he did, I think it was in Jose Mourinho time, if I'm not lying, or under Conte, but it one or the two. Frank Lampard take the ball and he give it to Didier Drogba to go on and win the boot. Paul Palmer was chasing Erling Allen last season for the Golden Boot. He scored a trick, and what they did for the fourth one, they try to fight him for the ball because they wanna put their name on the score sheet. While Cole Palmer is the one who's closer to Erling Allen for the Golden Boot. So those are the situations where I'm looking at and said it's not the first time Noni Madueke been doing it. They did it this season too in preseason. Noni Madueke did it with Christopher Nkuku, and Enzo have to tell him, listen, this is the last time you're gonna do this. Cole Palmer, then Nkuku is the penalty taker. So these are some little details that we're not really look at. It happened and we let it slide. We let it bypass. But you have to take into consideration all these small details. These details are what matters. None of Madueke is showing. I don't think Chelsea gonna push him through the door, but I just think that he probably gonna get an opportunity where he gonna go to a team and he's gonna be the man and he gonna really want to jump to it because he's gonna always be the guy or the man that's under Cole Palmer. I don't know if I made that clear enough for you, Ty. But yes, God, why Ty is not there. So that's what I was really referring to. Not saying that Chelsea gonna sell him or Chelsea gonna push him out, but none of way could probably be the one that push himself out of the team. You there, Ty? So, ladies and gentlemen,
That's exactly what it is. So for me, with the Cole Palmer situation and Eden Hazard, I would just say, to each and everyone that just be patient with the young players. Give them time to grow. Don't force them. Don't put too much pressure on them, because we never want a player to end up, like Ruben Loftus-Cheek and also Hudson-Odoi. And the same thing that happened with even Solanke, because remember Solanke was a Chelsea player, but he did not have the patience to wait on his opportunity, and he bounced around a few big clubs, and then last season he got this breakout. Because we have to remember, Solanke was the Golden Ball winner, the first British player to win a Golden Ball. I'll say similar like Lionel Messi in the under 17 World Cup, where he won the Golden Ball. He was the outstanding player, and he get that fame get to him, where he decided that he want to go on. He want to move from Chelsea. He went to Liverpool, and it just didn't happen for him. So sometimes, players have to be patient. None of Madueke will get his time and will get his chance. Just be patient, play with the team, and play for the team. That's all I'm saying, and that's all I'm asking for. It's for Noni Madueke to wait on his opportunity. Hudson-Odoi was the same thing. He did not, or he never wanna wait. He decided he wanna leave, and back and forth. With Chelsea till they give him that big contract and put that big pressure on him, because now you're earning big money, and what you got to do, you're gonna have to prove that you're worth that big money, and they overuse him. And what happened to him? Injury comes, and Hudson-Odoi just getting back to where he should have been, a couple of years ago. So, and he's still not back yet, but he's on his way there. So we have to be cautious and patient. Don't overwork the players, and ties back.
Yes, thank you very much, Garvin, for holding on the fort. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, but thank you very much. And Miss Molina is saying maybe Chelsea should have gone for Durant from Villa, and I think this is something that would have been discussed on Garvin's channel over the weekend as well. With people's thoughts on Durant, because a lot of people were not really keen on getting Durant. A lot of people were saying that Durant should not be signed, and I know big um, social media personalities for Chelsea we're pushing the narrative and pushing the agenda that we shouldn't get Durant because he's too young. He's not able to be taking the position as a starting striker from Ollie Watkins. But you can see that he's a key player, and that he will potentially be able to compete with a Jackson, although Jackson should not necessarily be leading the line because he's not really a striker. But the competition will be more. Um, but we didn't sign him. We are seeing reports that Chelsea may go back in for him, or could be going in for a striker in the winter. So things could change. But yes, a lot of people are saying that, and maybe competition would have helped. But yeah, I want to touch on what Garvin was also pushing onto, and I think you mentioned something about the whole situation with Madueke as well. Um, I think it was on. I don't. I'm wondering if it was under Ancelotti, the situation that you talked about with Lampard and Drogba. I think it was a game against was it Hull City, or I don't remember which team it was. I think it was under Ancelotti though, where there was some little back and forth with both players about who should take the penalty, because Drogba was supposed to be closer to getting the golden boot, and if he had scored that goal, it would have helped him as well. I think that was the case with when Chelsea were neck and neck with Man United, and if they won the match, then they would have won the league and everything. So I think that's probably it. I'm not sure if it's the same thing that you're talking about, but I do remember that instance as well. But it takes pride. It takes you taking your pride, setting your pride aside, and deciding that put the team first. And you mentioned it, Madueke's arrogance, his selfishness can be a danger to himself and can be a detriment to Chelsea as well, because we don't need players to be selfish or to believe that they're the greatest player and all of that. And a lot of players in the squad has fed his ego and all of that, which is fine. You can boost your teammates' confidence to say that okay, you can achieve this, but don't let it get to their head to the point where they're saying that oh, we're gonna be doing this, or I'm gonna be doing this, or I'm gonna become the top goal scorer. No, if you get the top goal scorer position, it's fair enough, but work as a team first. And if you think that the best option is to pass the ball, not because you haven't scored a goal in a game means that you should decide to risk it. Yes, sometimes players do that and it works out, but and sometimes it worked for him last season. But you have to put the team first. And if there's other options that are in a better position, you give the ball to them, and you can see that. Jesus is King is saying right here that not signing Olise gave Dune one more season to prove himself. Estevao and Pai's signing is proof Noni will not be here for long. These SD would sell it easily. That's an opinion, and I respect it. I understand what you're saying. That's fair enough as well. IB is saying, look, my thing, people call Noni selfish. The last match, Palmer scored three in the pen. He could have had Nico and Noni take the pen. Your teammates have to eat too. Well, that's true, but at the same time, we have to take into consideration that he is the penalty. He's a designated penalty taker, and he could have given it to one of them and he missed it. And then you would have made a different argument of he should have taken the penalty. Why did he decide to give them? So it was a case where, as I said, you can't satisfy everybody. A lot of fans are going to say you can give the penalty to somebody else. You could have done that, but I don't think if he had scored up, if he had given the penalty to somebody else, he would have ended up scoring the 4 goals as well. So it depends on how you look at it. He made history in the Premier League, so I guess it worked out for him.
Yeah, yeah, 100% correct. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I love this show. This show is a really some good topics. Some very good discussion. Something that we never really expect that we would really get into today. But it's an honor for me to really share the platform with you, Ty. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Your take on the football, it's top notch. It's a really really good pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's the sentiment can be shared with you as well. Yeah, I always appreciate you coming on and giving your insights, and not shying away from giving your thoughts and sharing your honest views as well. I was wondering if I should do a match preview for the match, but for tomorrow. But I'm saying I don't know about that. Um, but yeah, this is a topic. As I said before in the early stages of the stream, this is not a conversation, and Garban would have mentioned that as well. It's not a conversation that you can say should be had right now. You have to see how the season goes as well, and you can probably revisit this topic to say that can he actually outdo what Hazard would have done. And even then, this season is probably too small of a bracket because Hazard had a couple of seasons. He had around 6-7 years. So in a sense, you have to still think reasonably. You have to think about the fact that if Palmer ends up helping Chelsea win the Conference League or win 2 trophies, because I'm hoping we win more than 1 trophy. I don't want to be too greedy, but if we can win 2 trophies, that'll be a good start. It is possible. We do have a good squad depth. We have players who can score goals. We have closer to a B team. We still have some players that probably still need to sharpen up, but we do have a B team that you can perhaps say you can trust to get goal. And the defensive aspect is not too bad, but there's obviously needs to be more work done in the training, and the players need to be work individually and improving themselves as well. But yeah, I think as you said, it was a good show. It was a good stream. It was a stream where we were able to interact with each other, interact with the chat, and get some insights from what the viewers think as well. It's always good to have these type of interaction. Well, I just want to close off with this one small thing as well. I have an announcement to make after this as well. But this is my last question to you, Garvan. No, we're going into the rest of the season with the belief that, it's a promising start. It's still very early. We know that we have the issues um, of not being the best when December comes around, or the December fixtures come around. We tend to struggle. What do you think that, and I hope that my stream does not allow this to happen, but do you think that if a situation where Cole Palmer becomes unavailable, do you think that we would lose some level of creativity? Do you think that the team would struggle to score goals?
I'm gonna say no, to be quite honest, because right now, to the level that we got on the bench, the younger players that we do got on the bench, and the way how we're playing and we're trying to play, we got the likes of Joe Felix, can pick up the slack for a month. If Cole Palmer is not there, Christopher Nkuku, can pick up the slack. And the same Nadi Madueke. If you want to be the man so badly, that would be your opportunity, to prove. And also Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto is a very creative player. And what we were struggling with for the last couple of years in the December period is player was overworked. And right now, I like what Enzo is doing. The squad is more balanced. So I think the team will be more fresher in the December period, because he can rotate. You can rotate players and still have the same outlet and performance. The only place I would worry about if we rotate too deeply, is probably with the midfield, the likes of Akai Sado, because we don't know how fit Enzo is trying to take his time with Lavia. So that's one of the biggest problem I would worry about. But you know, Cassidy, I'm saying he's been training this season as a defensive midfielder. So that's what they've been working on behind the scene with him on his interview today, for the game tomorrow. So they're trying to build a defensive midfielder out of Cassidy. So probably we'll have someone to slide in there. Not saying it's going to be dominated like Caicedo in there, but Lavia, can do a job there, and even Reece James, because Enzo Maresca said that too, that that Reece James can play in the midfield too. And a lot of people are going to say no, but Reece James is a very good one-on-one defender overall. He's a very good tackler of the ball, and he can read the game very well. So I wouldn't be surprised, that if it reached the December period, players, our team will be fresh than majority of the team. Because if you notice, Cole Palmer is out of the squad for Europe. Reece James is out of the squad. Lavia is out of the squad. So all these three key players are important players. Only gonna be playing one game per week for right now. So in that time, when it come around, these players gonna be fit and gonna be fresh to come in and to take up the slack.
I think that's a very um, intellectual response. I think it is, and that is true. I mean, we do have creativity. It's not like the old days where we had, for example, as I mentioned earlier, Mason Mount, who if he doesn't create, or if he wasn't have good games, Chelsea would have struggled, or anything like that. We do have players who can be creative, and Kugu can be creative, Felix can be creative. You have Neto who can create chances as well. You have Sancho who can be creative as well. We have Casado, Enzo who can chip in as well. We do have creativity, Gusto. So it's not complicated. It's just about finding the best solution. And as you said, Maresca is finding the perfect balance. He's ensuring that he doesn't let any player feel that they're too important, because if you don't perform good, you have competition, and that's what I love about the fact that we got players. Mudrik is there, who he's starting to perform better. He still has some things to work on, but Mudrik has actually improved somewhat. There's still a lot that he obviously can do, but Mudrik is there, Sancho is there. You have Neto, Madueke has competition in that aspect, and Kunku. So it's competition all over the pitch. Lavia as well can be crucial as well in the team. We do have Cassidy, as you mentioned, the whole fact that he's playing a more defensive role. We have Dewsbury Hall, who's still yet to really convince a lot of fans. I'm yet to be convinced on him personally. He really disappoints me so far in terms of what I expected him to do. I did a whole analysis video on him, and nothing that I would have seen when I would have done my research on him has translated to Chelsea. So I don't know if it's a case where he needs to, adapt to the fact that this team is not a case where he's the best player, and that it's not, and doing little mistakes here and there won't matter, because it's not expected from anybody that they would not make mistakes. But there's a lot of players that still, as I said, need to sharpen up. So we do have a B team. We do have players that can contend with each other and compete for a starting spot. And the season is still early. And also the players who haven't started yet or haven't got the chance to really set themselves down as a crucial player for the team, that can always change, and that's the fascinating thing about this squad. The team has improved. We've got new signings in. We saw players that were out on loan come back, or players who were injured coming back. So yeah, I think that's indeed a very important thing. Garvin, do you have anything else to say?
No, I just want to say, thank the viewers, and for interact with us, in the chat, and it was a very, very good show. To be quite honest, I love to do shows with you, Ty. To be quite honest, is no because you're here to gas you up, but I'm telling you, conversation with you about football, it's something that I can take every day with me, because the way how you put it, and bring yourself across, especially explaining the game, is something that I know the fans are those the people in the chat. I know everyone love, because of the response that's in the chat and the way you counteract with them. It's something really good, and I hope that tomorrow you will probably do a show, same way, and after the game, let us see how it goes, because we know that time and you're going to school. But really appreciate the effort and the time that you put in, all the time. And I just want to say thank you, bro, for having me.
All right, yeah, that's true. And as I would have said, I have an announcement to make. I love the fact that Garvin just mentioned the whole fact of availability for me with our school and everything. So, on that note, I think it's important that I share that for those persons who perhaps follow me on X and on social media, they would have been aware of the fact that I was looking for individuals to come in, to be either co-host, to host shows, host segments, and there's a lot that is planned for the remainder of this season, and for the rest of this year. So I am proud to announce that there will be additions. I would have done interviews with certain personnel, and I was very much impressed with what I would have heard from them. And there have been two additions. Um, one will be a co-host. You will get acquainted with them in the coming days as well. Um, I do believe. I'm not sure if Jesus is King is still here, but if I'm not getting the person mixed up, he is one of the individuals who will be joining as well. If I got the identity messed up, then I do apologize. But yes, there'll be two additions. You'll see them in the coming days. They will be, giving their insights, and there'll be segments that you can look forward to. I don't want to give too much away. I want you guys to be surprised. But yes, you can expect to see new personnel, participating on the channel, giving, insights, giving their view, because the channel is about giving people the opportunity. And as my good friend, Green Turf Oggs would say, we give the voice to the people, because without the people, the show cannot go on, and it would make no sense. I would just be sitting here, me and Gordon would just be sitting here talking, and it just be a conversation between the two of us, and nobody's there. So without the audience, it would make no sense to be doing this. We could just be on a phone call, or we could just be meeting together and just discussing this. But with you, it makes it more interesting and entertaining. So thank you all. Thank you very much for taking part. Thank you, Garvin, once more for always finding the time. I know that you're a busy family man, so I know that doing this, you have to you perhaps have to, you have to correspond and say that you're going to be doing this. But yes, I appreciate you always finding the time to come on. Always appreciate it.
Thank you, bro. Stay backstage. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Nightbot really came late with this message. I was hoping it would come in sooner. But as Nightbot says here, thank you to everyone who joined the stream today. The channel cannot work without you all. We appreciate you. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. As I said before, there may be a follow-up stream to this, perhaps in the latter stages of the season. So probably next year we will have a this actually, in-depth discussion on this, because this is just touching the surface, looking at what we can see, looking at things at face value. But eventually we'll have to perhaps discuss this again, or a different sort of topic will come up as well. Big up to you, Jordan. I didn't really get to acknowledge you, but big up to you, Jordan. But if that's all that you have to say, Garvin, I think we can end it here.
Peace.
Yes, peace.